Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhab an-nar. A questioner had a question or addressed a question concerning women wearing waterproof makeup and whether or not their wudu would be sound if they were wearing waterproof makeup, and how do we contextualize such issues when they're not to be found in the books of fiqh. For example, you cannot open up the books of fiqh and find the question of wearing makeup as we know it today, since makeup did not occur until much later, and thus it was not discussed in the books of fiqh. So Bismillah, first of all, in terms of contextualization, what we mean by contextualization and what we're referring to is at-tasawwur in Arabic. And at-tasawwur means understanding the issue at hand before providing an answer or before giving a judgment. And so the job of the person who is addressing or the one who is answering the question, first of all, is to break down the question of the person who's asking in order to understand from a fiqh perspective what exactly is a person asking. In other words, when a person comes to ask a question, they have generally no idea of fiqh. And so when they ask the question, they just let sentences come out of their mouth trying to express what they're trying to ask. And so, for example, when somebody asks about makeup, it is the job of the person who's answering, for example, to rearrange that question in a fiqh fashion in order to understand the hukum. So, for example, the issue of women wearing makeup and whether or not it nullifies wudu, the actual question would be, does the waterproof makeup prevent water from reaching the face? And is washing the actual face a condition for the soundness of wudu? So from this perspective, we take a look at the Maliki madhab and we find this answer mentioned indirectly but clearly. Because in the Maliki madhab, as long as there's something which we call a ha'il means any type of thing on the skin that prevents water from reaching the skin. For example, in some books they'll mention if a person had a piece of, for example, a piece of dough on their hand and they were to make wudu, if they were to miss just that spot, then they wouldn't have wudu because it is a ha'il, meaning it's a covering that blocks water from reaching the skin. Thus, it is not. Thus, if a person were to make wudu and miss an obligatory limb in wudu like the arms, then their wudu wouldn't be sound. So, looking from that side and looking from that basis, now we understand at-tasawwur, meaning we understand what the questioner is really asking because we took the question and put it in the form, or we put it in fiqh fashion. So the reality is that waterproof makeup repels water from reaching the face. So it acts as a ha'il, meaning that the water is not exactly reaching the face. And so if a sister were to wear waterproof makeup while making wudu, the makeup repels the water, and thus she's not actually washing her face. It would be similar to her having some type of other substance, let's say for example dough or any other thing on the face, that if she were to wash it, the water would not reach the face because it repels the water. For example, to make a closer example, the ulama mentioned that in the Maliki madhab mentioned, for example, if you had hard grease on your face, because when you have hard grease, contrary to soft grease, it forms a body type fashion. And so it blocks water from reaching the face. And so if the water repels, if the mask or any type of covering repels water from reaching any part of the limb in which wudu is obligatory, then they will not then their wudu will not be sound, because they did not fulfill the condition of washing the limb. And Allah knows best. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een.